Good morning, namaste. Welcome to the mat. Today's practice is all about the hips and shoulders. So for today's practice, besides your mat and your water, you need 2 yoga blocks. We'll use those to help elevate the floor and then some yummy stretches for the quads at the end. So come join me in child's pose. Let's go ahead and set the blocks up right away. You want them on their lowest setting. And you want them about shoulder distance apart or a little bit wider. So child's pose variation that works for you, knees wide, knees together, but we're gonna place the elbows on the blocks. So adjust the blocks as necessary. I want you to feel that the chest starts to rock through the plane of the shoulders. And then if you can, bringing the hands into prayer, allow the elbows to bend, bring the fingertips in between the shoulder blades. I'm just going to say hello to those shoulders right away in our practice. A lot to get done. You imagine the shoulder joint and the hip joint are our most mobile joints. They move in 360 degrees of rotation, which also makes them vulnerable, right? So looking to give a little love, a little stretch and opening, and maybe kind of push past a little bit of discomfort as we work through these often tight areas. Let the belly be soft as you settle into this first little posture. Let go of all the doing and busyness in the mind, regardless of when you take this practice, in the morning or midday or in the evening. Letting go of anything in the past, anything that's happened yet in your day, and committing for just the next hour or so together that we stay right here in the present, feeling the sensations of the body. So go ahead and check in there now. Notice the sensations in the face, if you may be clenching the jaw or holding any undue tension. And just breathing space as we travel down, noticing the sensations in the shoulder girdle and the chest. See if you can open the collarbones a little bit more and breathe some space, imagining the air or breath or prana energy wrapping through the shoulder girdle. Breathing into the backs of the shoulder blades, breathing space into the spine, all the way down the curve, the lower lumbar curve. And then check in with the hips. You may already be feeling a little resistance in the body through the hips and the back of the hamstrings and the knees. Try to soften there, send the breath. Allowing the breath to reach the ankles and toes. And even though we're working in this posture, see if you can find a little bit more ease or relaxation. Notice if there's something you may be gripping or holding on to, even if it's just a thought or anticipation of the practice. Just letting all of that go. Just take 5 more generous breaths in your space, breathing in and out through the nose. Maybe you layer on Ujjayi Pranayama, that victorious breath, that constriction through the back of the throat, like you're making an H-A-ha sound with the inhale and exhale. It's also the breath of fire as we warm the body up. Take the last breath together here. Breathe in through the nose. Audible exhale, release energy. Unraveling the arms, straightening the arms, bringing the hands onto the blocks, and then just placing them off to the side of the mat for now. Let's go ahead and come into tabletop. We're going to work some shoulder cars as we work through and kind of move through the scapula and the shoulder girdle. So coming into a supported tabletop position here, I want you to drop into the shoulders. All right, so now bring the shoulders up toward the ears, and then making a circle, bring the shoulders down the back. And then I want you to press really firmly into the hands and separate the shoulders as much as you can. Find that protraction through the shoulder girdle, and then bring the shoulders up by the ears. We complete that circle. As we come back, let the chest dip, squeeze the shoulder blades together along the back. Let's do that a couple more times. Pressing, just trying to make that full 360-degree rotation through the shoulder girdle, allowing the shoulder blades to drop down the back. One more time in this direction, and then we'll switch. So going in opposition, working that whole rotation, squeezing the shoulder blades together, and then protracting the shoulder blades as you press the earth away. Again, maybe one more here. And then come to your supported spine. Tuck the toes underneath you. Option to hover the knees here. We're gonna do some shoulder taps. So I want you to lock the shoulder girdle into place, maybe hovering the knees. Left shoulder taps the right hand taps the left shoulder. So notice that you're not swiveling the hips side to side, and these can be done with knees down if it feels more stable. So just noticing there, we're here for about 30 seconds, keeping the shoulders down away from the ears, really pressing the outer hips out, pressing through the pinky toe edge of the foot. Slower is harder, faster is a little bit easier. Pull the belly in, brace the abdominals. Nice, we're here for another 5. Maintaining space between the hips and the ribs. Last 3, last 2, last 1. Finishing up sides, knees come down if they're not already there. Find cat and cow. Release the shoulders. Allow the cat and cow to be generous. Add movements if they feel good in the body this morning. Come to the fingertips. Just allow it to feel good. And then coming to that neutral spine again, go ahead and lift the left arm up, gazing at that left thumb. Draw the right shoulder down away from the ears. Let's thread the needle. Threading the left arm underneath, bring the left temple down to the earth. Feel that shoulder stretch. Maybe you want to kick out the right leg just a little bit, leaning off to the left, separating the left shoulder blade along the back, stretching through the neck. Coming back to that breath, that Ujjayi, if you layer that on, finding equal inhales and exhales. Nice, right knee will come down. Right hand will come underneath the shoulder. Relift the left arm and then pivot on the right shin. I'm going to turn away from you as we come to supported side plank. So right hand into the earth, right shin down onto the earth. Left leg is long, turning the left toes in about 45 degrees. So I want you to feel the pinky side edge of that left foot. Now squeeze the hips, press the hips so you open with a little bit of hip extension through the front of the hips, and then bring that left arm all the way up overhead. Feel the stretch through the whole left side of the body. Feeling all 4 corners of that right hand. Feel all the fingertips and knuckles into the earth. The next inhale, reach that left arm up again. This time float the left leg. So notice that stability there now on 2 limbs. And then bend the left knee, reach around for the top of the foot, and then kick into the hand, open up the left side of the chest. Thumb can be down or thumb can be up, whatever feels good in the body. Kicking in, opening, feeling the stretch, maybe through the left bicep, all the way down the left forearm, the top of the left quad. And it's like a bow and arrow, so really gently release the foot, bring the left hand down, keep the right knee bent and straighten the left leg back behind. Tuck the right toes. We're gonna come into a modified down dog. We're really focusing on stretching through the back of the left heel. So my right knee stays into my chest. My left heel starts descending down toward the earth, feeling that nice stretch through the whole backside of the left leg. Checking in really strong through the arms. Again, firm up that shoulder girdle. So not pressing the chest through the plane of the shoulders, but you really feel that the armpits start to hollow out in down dog and you feel the triceps pressing down toward the earth. Taking another breath or 2. And we'll meet in that cat and cow. Both knees come down, hands underneath the shoulders. Find a cat and cow again that works for you. as we continue to open up the body. So there's strength and stability needed through these joints. Nice. Coming to a neutral spine. When you're ready, let's lift that right arm up. All right, so two arms reaching in opposition, left shoulder down away from the ear. Look up at that right thumb, twisting the left side of the rib cage around. And then on your exhale, thread the needle. Right shoulder comes down to the earth, right palm turns up, right temple comes down. Again, maybe that left leg comes off to the left and you lean to the right, protracting the right shoulder, finding that nice stretch. Softening through the right side of the face and neck. Checking in with the breathing. Where's the mind wandered to? That form of meditation is concentration, it's focus. And so even recognizing when the mind has wandered and just giving it that gentle tug, that pull to come back to the present moment, breathing in a little deeper, staying in the body. Left hand will come underneath the shoulder, left knee will come down. The right arm will re-lift one more time, and then we'll pivot on that left shin. So coming to supported side plank now on this side. So my left hand is firmly rooted into the earth. My left knee and shin are down. I've got a slight extension through the hips, so squeezing the glutes. And then turn the right toes in toward the face slightly. Nice. When you're ready, the right palm will turn down, reaching the hand up and over so it's slightly in front of the face, making that arc shape as you stretch through the whole right side of the body. See if you can turn that chest up to the ceiling just a little bit, squeezing the glutes. Right arm will lift above the shoulder. Right leg will float when you're ready. Two limbs onto the earth. And then when you're ready, bend the right knee, reach around for the top of the foot. Again, thumb up or thumb down, whatever feels good. And then begin to kick into the hand, opening up the right side of the chest, maybe even all the way down to that bicep and forearm. Feeling the sensation here. Check in with those left fingertips. Can you feel them gripping into the earth? Almost at this palm is suction cupped off of the mat. And then a slow, gentle release. The right hand will come down, the right leg will stay long back behind, and the left knee will be down. Tucking the left toes when you're ready, we come to that modified down dog now, allowing the right heel to descend down toward the earth. Again, strong through the shoulder girdle, press that thumb and index finger down. We have a tendency to kind of roll toward that pinky edge, especially in down dog, or maybe you're sitting in the base of the wrist. Really try to transfer the weight through all 10 fingers. When you're ready, let's let the left foot come back to meet the right. Let's take down dog. And then take a look at the heels. See if you can allow the heels to disappear. So there's a slight internal rotation that happens. You feel the inner thighs wrapping up. You feel the sits bones and tailbone reaching toward the sky. And then separate the sits bones slightly. Pull in the floating ribs, find space between the ears and the shoulders, and then really wrap the triceps down toward the earth. When you're ready, come forward, high plank. We'll wave forward 5 times. Come high plank, squeeze the quads, look forward through the plane of the shoulders toward the top of the mat. And then exhale, lift the hips up and back, down dog. 4 more, inhale, forward plank. Strong plank body, exhale, hips up and back, down dog. Find your breath, find that wave, inhale forward, unfurl the spine, look forward. Exhale, hips up and back, down dog. Last 2. Inhale, come forward, strong plank. Exhale, hips up and back. Last one here, we'll hold into plank. Inhale, come forward, high plank. Strong here. Again, wrap those triceps back. Hug the shoulders down away from the ears, strong through the shoulder girdle. Pull the belly in. And then when you're ready, lower all the way down onto the belly. Bringing the right arm out at a half of a V, so it's up, extending out about 45 degrees from the shoulder. Bring the right temple toward the earth and just find that little chest stretch. Maybe the left knee comes up and back toward the ceiling and the left foot makes its way toward the floor. Maybe just leaning a little bit to the right is enough. I want you to think of lifting that right shoulder up and hugging the shoulder blade in toward the midline of the spine so you can really focus the stretch on the chest. Good, coming in through center. Extending the left arm about 45 degrees out. Let's go ahead and set that shoulder here. So lift the shoulder up, pull the shoulder blade in toward the midline, bring the left temple down toward the earth as we keep hugging that left shoulder in, really isolating the stretch to the chest. Opening the left side of the collarbone here, breathe space in there. Continuing to warm up the body. Taking one more full breath. And then we'll meet in Sphinx posture. So coming in, hips come lower down, bringing the elbows underneath the shoulders, making a number 11 so that you feel nice and supported here. Elbows directly underneath the shoulders, the wrists and forearms are down toward the earth, and there's a little slight external rotation, so it allows the shoulder blades to come down the back. And then press the top of the pubic bone in and pull the belly in slightly. Just feeling here, maybe do a few neck rolls, just because it feels good. And then I want you to bring the left fingertips over toward the right wrist. So it's just kind of crossing at an angle. And then begin to bend the right knee. Place some weight into that left forearm. And then reach around for that right foot. This time I want you to have the thumb up. So reaching for the instep, the big toe side of that right foot. Again, press down the left forearm and then kick into the hand. Maybe so much so that that right quad starts to lift off the mat. Press down to the left toes. Lift the left quad off the mat so you find some stability there. Breathe. It's okay if you can't even reach the foot, even just having the energetic direction of reaching around toward the foot is good. Nice, release, come back in through Sphinx. Set the elbows underneath the shoulders, check in. Draw the heart forward, long through the back of the neck. And then the right fingertips come over toward the left wrist. Really pressing that right forearm down into the earth. Notice I'm not kind of hunched up here, allowing my shoulder to be by my ear, but I feel really supported. And then bending the left knee, reach the left arm around. Again, finding the inside, so the big toe side, and the left thumb is up. Pressing down to that right forearm, begin to kick into the hand. Maybe the left knee starts to lift. Feel both pubic bones directly into the mat and press down to the top of the right foot. Breathe. Always breathing, checking in. And then when you're ready, gently release. Go ahead and bring the thumbs so that they gaze the rib cage, bring the chest down, and then just press into child's pose. Knees wide, arms forward. Bringing the forehead down to the earth. Let's take a side body stretch, walking the hands to the left. Right palm comes on top of the left. Sink the hips to the right. Stretch. Breathe into the right side ribs. Feel the right armpit hollow down and find as much length through the right armpit all the way down to the top of the right hip. And then walk those hands through center. Take them off to the other side. Hands maybe off the right side of the mat. Left palm comes on top. Sink the hips to the left. Hollow out the left armpit. Breathe into the left side ribs. Nice. And when you come back in through center, making sure the hands are about shoulder distance apart, tucking the toes, lifting the hips, find downward facing dog. Just to walk the hands back to the back of the mat. So the feet are about hip distance apart or a little wider. Let's find our first forward fold here as we hang over like a rag doll. Maybe even sway as we grab opposite elbows, letting the head hang. Let the shoulders round forward. Feel weight into the ball of the foot, into the heel, into the pinky toe, and then big toe side. And just kind of rock around till you feel your center. When you're ready, gently releasing the hands, walking back out to downward facing dog. And this time, bring the toes together a little bit further in so that you can lift the right leg up and back, flexing through the right toes pointed straight down to the mat. And then I want you to bend the knee, bring the right foot all the way up and step it outside of the outside of the right hand. So you're taking a wide lunge. Let the hips sink slightly, look forward, draw the heart forward, and then go ahead and lower that left knee all the way down, untuck the toes. Having the blocks handy are great to bring them underneath, and we're gonna find almost like that Sphinx arm again. So bringing the forearms down just inside, feeling the stretch through the right hamstring, and then focusing on the left groin here. Again, blocks can be up as high as you need to bring the floor to you, just finding that nice sensation as we continue to open up the hips. And finding that nice supported shoulder girdle so that you're not dumping in the shoulders. And almost find a little kind of upward dog in the heart as you drop the shoulders down away from the ears. Pressing the left big toe to the back of the mat, find a little bit more length, and bend in just a little deeper into that right knee so you feel that opposition as we start to work into the pelvis. One more full breath here. Then bring the hands onto the blocks. Bring the blocks to the top of the mat. Tucking the left toes underneath, step back downward facing dog. Toes slightly closer together. Lift that left leg up and back, flexing the left foot, toes press down toward the mat. And again, we're gonna step all the way up outside the left hand toward that left pinky side of the hand. First, drop the hips slightly, look forward, gaze forward, and then lower the right knee, untuck the right toes, let the hips sink down, bringing the blocks underneath, bringing the hands into that Sphinx where the forearms are down, supported through the shoulder girdle. Feel the stretch through the left hamstring now and the right side of the groin. And then just as we did, I want you to feel like those right toes are kind of pressed down and away. So you're putting a little pressure through that right side of the hip flexor, and then bend into that left knee just a little bit more. Breathing here. Again, maybe you don't even need the blocks. If you have that flexibility in the forearms, can make it all the way down to the earth. Good. Find a little bit of an upward dog through the heart. Taking another breath here, another opportunity to work into the body. And this time, keep the blocks where they are. Bring the hands onto the blocks. Keep the the left foot where it is. And then step the right foot all the way up outside the block. So we're gonna drop into yogi squat here. Toes are externally rotated about 45 degrees. I can face you this way. So you're trying to get the heels down to the mat, and they may not make it there. You can always roll your mat up, and I'll show you here. So I would roll my mat up slightly to give myself a little bit of support through the heels so that I can have my heels touching on the floor of the mat, which is really nice. Again, using props, using variations to bring the floor to us, not having to kind of contort our body to meet the floor. As we continue to warm up through the hips and the shoulders. Right, giving them a little extra love, maybe breathing space. Take 3 generous breaths and just imagining that healing breath energy just surrounding the entire ball and socket joint of the hips, swirling, healing. Maybe even closing the eyes for a breath or two. And then lifting up through the crown of the head. Wherever you are, meeting at the top of the mat with the blocks there. So I'm gonna make my way back up to the top of the mat. I'm gonna take a wide forward fold. So my pinky toes are aligning to the edges of the mat. My hands are on the blocks or maybe on the floor. I'm just gonna fold myself in half. Maybe take the blocks, walk them all the way over to the left. Feel those right fingertips really extend so you can stretch to that right QL and side body. Pull that outer right hip back. Maybe you walk the blocks into the center and take them up over to the right, really reaching with those left fingertips, pulling that outer left hip back. second forward fold here today. So healing as we reverse the blood flow, allowing all that oxygen-rich blood to come directly into the brain. Bringing the hands in through center. And let's go ahead and walk the feet in about hip distance apart. And then lining the blocks so they're right with the toes, and underneath you're kind of in a quadruped but the legs are straight. So bringing the right foot back, we're going to find pyramid stance, bringing the blocks back by the left foot. So squaring the hips are as best you can. And again, blocks can be here, right? We're trying to look for sensation through the back of the left thigh. So I want you to feel like the outer right hip is wrapping forward and down, and that left hip is wrapping back and up. And if you feel like you're too tight right now, like you're kind of constricted here, give some space. Wiggle that left foot to the left. So you want this hips to be as square as to the top of the mat as possible. Let's find a halfway lift and lengthen. And then with both heels grounded, fold yourself in half. Thinking bringing the top of the head all the way down to that left big toe. Using the block height to help and assist to bring the floor to you. Again, left hip wraps up and back. Right hip, outer hip wraps forward and down. And then just for a few breaths, I want you to really try to engage that left quad. So we work in dualities, right? So the front part of the body can constrict or contract, and then allows the back side of the body to open up. So even placing your hands on that left quad, see if you can feel like that left kneecap is pulling up as the head descends down, forehead touching the shin. I even kind of like poke onto that quad to try to get it to fire as I tell my body what I need it to do in this moment. Everyone find a halfway lift when you inhale. Bring the right foot directly behind the left and then take it all the way over to the left side. So you're cross-backed behind and you're still about a few feet apart. So we're doing a cross-leg pyramid pose. I want you to square your hips off to the top of the mat and then fold in half. Really ground down through that left big toe. Feel that right hip wrapping forward and the left hip wrapping back as you feel a little different stretching sensation. Maybe through the outer left leg and thigh, all the way down through the shin and calf and Achilles. Nice. Taking another breath or two here. And then when you're ready, come up to the fingertips, find a flat supported spine, bring the foot back in through center, and then take it wide again. Let's find that yogi squat one more time. Toes out, heels in. This time I want you to use the elbows to press into the inner knees. Find some length through the crown of the head, length through the spine. And we'll set up that whole nice, beautiful stretch series for the other side. Find some stillness. Feel the feet into the earth. Feel the lift through the crown of the head. And then finding a straight leg forward fold, toes turn forward, hands onto the blocks. And then wiggle those feet in about hip distance apart. So the right foot will stay stationary this time. The left foot will step back and about 3 feet distance apart. Again, space for those hips to wrap forward. This time, the outer left hip is wrapping forward and down, and that right hip is wrapping back and up. So coming onto the fingertips, maybe on the highest setting of the block, walking the block back toward that right foot or ankle, folding yourself in half, thinking crown of the head all the way down to that right big toe. And then just as we did, let's work with the duality. Bring the hand onto the right quad. I want you to feel, or maybe even tap it, kind of looking at that right quad. I want you to feel like you're really engaging that right quad as you fold yourself in half, allowing this right hamstring to open up. Working through the body. See if you can maintain that contraction. Sometimes it flickers, that's okay. Giving it a few little pokes and even looking at it, right? Bringing our our brain into the equation as we allow our body to work, telling these muscles to turn on. One more breath here. And then softening, bring the hands onto the blocks, find a flat back. Again, the left foot will come behind the right and all the way over to the right side of the mat this time, or maybe even off the mat. So both toes are pointed straight forward. We're in this cross-legged pyramid pose. We're squaring our hips off. Left hip comes forward, right hip back, and then folding yourself in half. Feeling that stretching sensation now through that whole kind of outer right leg tissue. Not locking out the knees, keeping a soft bend in the knees. Keep trying to square off the hips as best you can. We'll wash all these beautiful stretches away with a little modified sun salutation, and then we'll get into some deeper hip and stretch opening. Such a beautiful practice to come back to. These tend to be our areas of tension. I know I feel it in my body. Maybe you're not getting to your mat as often as you would like. When you're ready, bring the hands onto the blocks. Go ahead and unravel the legs, bringing them up toward the top of the mat, placing the blocks off to the side. Everyone find a halfway lift. Bring the hands onto the shins so the feet are underneath the hips. You feel this nice, strong, supported flat back. And then find a fold. Press down to the feet, ragdoll the spine as you round all the way up. And we find Samasthiti at the top of the mat, bringing the big toes together to touch if that feels comfortable in your space on your low back. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, swan diver through heart center, find a forward fold. Halfway lift, hands to shins, flat back. Hands down, step the right foot back, find runner's lunge. So wiggle that left foot off to the left a little bit, and then I want you to really fire up the right quad. Press the right heel to the back of the mat, and then bend into that left knee just a little bit deeper. Good, bringing the right palm down to the earth, lift the left palm up, gaze at the left thumb. Breathe. And then feel that whole right hand into the earth. Draw the right shoulder down away from the ears. Pivot onto the pinky toe edge of that right foot and stack the left foot on the right. Find side plank pose. Really engage the under right side body, reaching up through that left middle finger straight up to the ceiling, straight up to the sky. And then when you're ready, look down at the top of the mat. Left hand comes down, right foot re-steps. Find that runner's lunge again, 10th of fingers so you can draw the heart forward. Give yourself a little bit more space to elongate the spine. And then press down to the feet, lift the arms up. Find high crescent lunge. Bend in a little bit deeper toward that left knee and really press back through that right heel. Draw those floating ribs in so that you feel ears are over the shoulders and the shoulders are over the hips, and the arms are slightly forward, and turning those pinky fingers in so we can feel the broadening through the upper back. So when you're ready, take another breath in here. And as you exhale, bring the hands down, step back through plank hold here. So either for this first push-up, lower the knees behind the hips, but we're turning the eyes of the elbows forward, lower halfway down. Inhale through upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale to downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths here. Go through those cues, the mental checklist in your mind, starting with the fingertips all the way through the shoulders, through the ribs, through the sitting bones, and down through the heels. Come high up on the toes at the end of the next exhale. And as you inhale, step to the top of the mat. Halfway lift when you get there. And then exhale, fold. Press down to the feet, reach the arms all the way up. And hands to heart center as you exhale. We go again. Inhale, lift. Exhale, find a forward fold. Halfway lift, lengthen, look forward. Bringing the hands down, step the left foot back now. Find runner's lunge. Wiggle that right foot off to the right just a little bit here. Really press back through that left heel and bend in a little bit deeper through that right shin so that the knee is directly over the ankle. Plant that left palm, draw the left shoulder down away from the ears, and lift that right arm up. Find a simple twist. Squeeze the shoulder blades together along the back. Really feel that left shoulder blade is locked into the shoulder girdle. Rolling to the pinky edge of that left foot now, stacking the right foot on the left, find the side plank pose. Feel the left underside body engage, lifting up through those right middle finger, maybe even gazing toward that right finger. Strong through that left hand and shoulder. When you're ready, look down at the mat, right hand comes down, right foot re-steps all the way up by the right wrist. If you didn't get it there, wiggle it up there, right? So that the fingertips, the wrists, and the ankle are all in a line. And then press down firmly to the feet, find high crescent lunge. All right, so firing up that left quad, pressing the left heel to the back of the mat, bending a little deeper toward that right knee so that the knee is directly over the ankle. Feel the outer right hip pull back. Floating ribs pull in, arms are slightly forward, and pinky fingers tucked in. Prick the ears slightly so you feel an elongation through the back of the neck. Breathing here. Feeling the legs, feeling the breath, even finding ease through the gaze. One more full inhale. And then as you exhale, bring the hands down. Lower through your choice, chaturanga, half of a push-up, skip it, come straight to downward facing dog as our meeting point, and find 3 breaths. The end of the next exhalation, you'll follow by the inhale, come high up on the toes, step or float to the top of the mat. Halfway lift when you get there, exhale, fold. A little faster now as we reach all the way up and complete this series. We'll do one more round. Inhale, reach. Exhale, dive and fold. Finding repetition in the body helps our brain, helps our body. We know where we're going this time. Hands down, step the right foot back, find runner's lunge. Plant the right palm, lift the left arm up, find that simple twist, breathe in. As you exhale, find side plank pose, stack the hips, stack the ankles. Really draw that right shoulder down away from the ears. Feel all 4 corners of that right hand into the mat. Taking a breath here. Exhale, look down, left hand down, left foot steps all the way up by that left wrist as we inhale and find high crescent lunge. Breathe in a little deeper as you bend the left knee. One more inhale. Exhale, bring the left hand down, or bring both hands down. Lower through your push-up. Always know that you can leave these out. Downward dog is our meeting spot, 3 breaths. The next exhalation. Take your breath in, come high up on the toes, step or float to the top of the mat. Find a halfway lift when you get there. That's all the same breath. Exhale, fold when you're ready, forehead to shin. Root down, rise up, arms come up overhead, and we end with an exhale. One more round, we go again, breathe in. Dive and fold. Halfway lift. Hands down, left foot steps back, runner's lunge. Plant the left hand, lift the right arm up, easy twist. The next breath, stack the hips, stack the ankles. Right foot comes on top of the left, strong left arm, strong left hand, strong left underside body. As you exhale, right hand comes down, right foot steps all the way up to the top of the mat, and we inhale, find high crescent lunge. Beautiful job. Finding stillness here for a moment, bending a little deeper toward that right knee. And as you exhale, both hands will come down. Lower through a push-up or skip it and find downward facing dog. Child's pose if you need it. Let's take a few extra breaths in down dog. Regulating our heart rate. Checking in with our breath. Notice how the body feels different. Check in with the sensations. Can you release any further tension through the head and neck? Do you feel stronger? Do you feel more alive? Do you feel space being created through the body as we move through these ancient postures? If you're not already in down dog, meet me there. And everyone's going to step the left foot up toward the top of the mat. Turn all 10 toes toward the long side of the mat so that they're about, if you were going to bring the arms out, they're about where your wrist would be, or a little wider. So we're just going to find a forward fold. Grab the big toe with the index and middle finger on both hands. I want you to take the elbows out to the side and straighten the wrists. Use the biceps, start to fold yourself in half. Rock a little bit of weight into the balls of the feet. Again, see if you can engage the quads, pulling the crown of the head down, separating the sitting bones, lifting the tailbone up to the sky, maybe so much so that the crown of the head makes its way all the way down to the earth. But notice that the arches are lifted so that you feel really grounded and rooted through the feet, through the pinky edge. Continuing to use the strength of the arms, elbows out to the side, wrists straightened to the best of your ability. Let's take 3 more breaths. Releasing the bind of the hands, walking the hands underneath the face. Now squeeze the inner thighs in so that you feel really stable through the lower body. Bring the hands onto the hips and come all the way up to standing. Beautiful job. All right, we're gonna clasp and open up the shoulders. So arms are gonna come out to a T, clasping the hands behind the back. I'll go ahead and show you. You wanna clasp all 10 fingers, and then just like we did those shoulder cars at the beginning, shoulders come up, down, and back, squeezing the shoulder blades along the back, keeping the wrists and palms together as best you can. Again, legs are in Pasarita, Padottanasana, and we're gonna find that forward fold. So ideally, right, our hands would be coming all the way up and over, and our knuckles would be touching the floor, but not in my body. I wanna see if you can allow the weight of gravity though, as you lift the knuckles up toward the ceiling and up overhead, feeling the stretching sensation through the front of the shoulders, through the pecs, through the biceps. Keep squeezing the shoulder blades together. Keep lifting up through the sitting bones. Again, find that rooting through the feet, through the pinky edge. Feel the arches lifting, allowing the hands to come down toward the earth. Take 5 more breaths here. Nice, bringing the hands back. Lift them straight up toward the ceiling. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Lift up the upper body. Release the arms out to a T and bring them down toward the thighs. One more time. This time we're going to find the grip. So I want you to bring the hands together and then move the thumb over one. So it's a grip that's just opposite or maybe a little awkward than the last grip. Again, find those shoulder cars, rolling the shoulders up, back, and down the back. Really squeezing the wrists, the base of the wrists together, folding yourself in half, reach forward, 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 forward with a long spine, a long chest, squeezing the shoulder blades, allowing the wrists to come up and overhead. Stretching here. Stay present. Stay in the sensations, maybe feeling a little bit of discomfort. Can you allow the wrists come up overhead even more, maybe so much so that they're touching the ground. Relaxing the face, letting the head and neck hang. Take 3 more rounds of breath. Allow the next inhale to allow you to reach the knuckles up toward the ceiling. Find a flat back as you come up to standing. Good, releasing the arms. Turn the right toes out, bend into the right knee. Bring the fingertips down, find Skandasana or a variation. So we're just stretching into the groin. I'm bending into my right knee, seeing if maybe that right heel can come down to the earth. Maybe the butt up is a little higher for you and that feels better. We're really just stretching through the adductors and the groin and into that right hip flexor. Breathing here, and then take it up and over to the other side. Left toes will turn toward the top of the mat. You'll bend into the left knee. The right leg will straighten. Maybe the right toes and knee and ankle come up. We're starting to wind down our practice, getting into more of these yin style stretches for our hips especially. Feeling really good. Good. Everybody turn toward the top of the mat, plant the hands, step the left foot back, downward dog. Last optional vinyasa here to kind of wash it away as you lower through half of a push-up. Making our way back to downward facing dog. Bringing the feet together, heels, ankles come to touch. Walk the hands back to the back of the mat, come into ball pose. So bending the knees, curl yourself in a tight, tiny little ball here. Bringing the chin to the chest. And let's get into those hips. Go ahead and bring the hands down, bring the butt down onto the earth. All right, so facing you, you guys can continue to face forward. Left leg's gonna come out in a half of a V. And I want you to bring the right foot back behind. So we're coming into like a hurdler stretch. So my right knee is bent, my right foot is planted. I'm gonna use my right hand to bring the top of the right foot back behind me as flat as I can to the best of my ability. So I've got a little bit of an open V situation. I'm feeling the stretch through the right quad, down through the right ankle. And then hinging at the hips with a flat spine, just start to crawl those fingertips forward slightly. Just feeling that there. Maybe flexing through the left toes. And then walking the hands back. Bring the fingertips back behind. Maybe the fingertips are facing forward. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Feel the opening maybe through the front of that right thigh. Nice. And then upright the spine when you're ready. Use the right hand, lean to the left. Go ahead and bring that right leg all the way up and across. So you're making a figure 4 with the legs. Bringing the fingertips to support the spine. Find a nice long tall spine as you bend into that left knee. All right, so ideally, and I'll show you side facing, is we want to try to eliminate the collapsing of the spine. My right hip tends to be pretty tight. So I'm going to inch my butt forward, really flexing through my right toes, but feeling sensation through the whole outer part of my right hip. Good, keep reaching through the crown of the head, dropping the chin. Breathing here. Feeling the support of the upper body. Lifting the big, wide, open collarbones to that right shin. The same posture can be done on your back, lying down in figure 4 if that would better suit your hips or your spine in any way. Good, and whether you're lying down or seated, I want you to back out of the spine a little bit. Take the hands a little wider so they're wider than shoulders, maybe even off the mat. And we're going to take a little twist. So bringing the left knee down to the floor, right foot is going to touch right knees to the sky. And we're just going to twist side to side. That same shape, whether it's figure 4 seated or lying down, we're just twisting the lower half of our body. Nice, maybe one more time. Just windshield wipering the legs side to side. And then release. Again, I'm gonna face you. My right leg's gonna come out into half of a V, not the widest V, but maybe, just half of a letter V. My left foot is planted, my left knee is up to the sky, and I'm gonna use my left hand to bring the top of the right foot back behind, maybe even lifting, lowering the hips to find some squareness through the sitting bones. You can always roll up a towel if one of your sitting bones is way higher, or even roll up the edges of the mat. Again, we're just going to hinge at the hips slightly, walking the fingertips forward again, finding that nice, long, tall, proud spine, broaden through the collarbones. It doesn't have to be a huge forward fold. We've got this tourniquet effect going on for the knees. So we're kind of closing off the blood as we find this kind of deep contraction through the knee joint. And then when we straighten it out, kind of let all of that oxygen-rich blood, that healing blood come back into the joint. Then walking the fingertips up. Let's just take a moment to walk back behind, find a nice long proud spine, maybe opening through the front of the left thigh. Always getting water as you need it. What's great with these home practices is you can take as much time as you need in a stretch. You can always pause or rewind or come back to. And then everybody's going to upright the spine. Go ahead and use that left hand to bring that left knee back around. And you're going to cross it all the way over the right thigh. So there's a big flex of my left foot. Again, it's going to help kind of lock that knee joint into place so I'm not torquing my knee. I'll show you side facing here. Fingertips are going to come back behind, so I have a nice, long, tall, proud spine, as tall as I can be. I'm going to start to bend my right knee. Again, checking in. We're going to start to inch the hips toward the heel, feeling that nice flex through the left foot and the stretch to the outer left hip. Depending on the tightness of your hips, this shape may look a lot different. And maybe you decide you want to take this one lying down on your back. Starting to slow down the breathing as we come into these longer holds, more passive stretching. Just staying present in the physical sensations for just a little while longer. Nice. And then backing out of the stretch, walking the hands a little wider than the shoulder distance. We're going to find that little windshield wiper, just releasing some tension through the lower back, through the hips. We come to our last two finishing postures before a brief rest and our time together is done. This is a great practice, as I said, to come back to. Just work on our flexibility, becomes measurable. Nice, one more time, either side. Beautiful. And then wherever you are, let's go ahead and take pigeon on the left side. So left knee. So you can take this kind of modified pigeon or this little 90-90 stretch, if that feels good, where you're really not extending that right leg back behind. Or we take pigeon where our left knee is outside of the center line of our body. Our right leg will come back. We're squaring the hips off to the best of our ability, finding a nice, long, tall spine. And then I want you to think of really reaching like a flat back so that like you're reaching the navel center kind of up and over that left shin. Again, allowing the forehead to come down. Maybe the block is easy and accessible, mine isn't. So I'm just gonna stack my fists so I can let my upper body rest, let my shoulders round. So there's so much involved in supporting the hips and the spine, the muscles in the torso, the hamstrings, and then all of our gluteal muscles. And then all of those deep supporting pelvic stabilizers. It's a lot going on. You imagine it's kind of like this very intricate trampoline in through, but really both the hips and shoulders. There's a lot that has to go right for it to work perfectly like a well-oiled machine. And our bodies really are the roadmap of our experiences. So we carry tension, energetic, emotional, physical tension, especially in these hardworking joints. We're here for about another minute or so. So checking in if you could be 5 or 10% more comfortable or relaxed or supported in any way. Go there now. And bring your awareness back to the breath.
Feel the inhalation as it tickles the nose, the nostrils, the upper lip. Bringing your awareness to the more subtle sensations as the breath leaves the body. Take 3 more breaths where you are. Maybe an audible exhale, sigh it out through the mouth. Slowly unraveling this posture. Upright the spine. Wiggle aways the legs out in front. Give them a little love. And we'll simply set that stretch up on the second side. Right knee will come out of the center line of the body. The heel can be in toward the groin or a little straighter toward the top edge of the mat. Then I like to wiggle my opposite leg a little wider so I can square the hips off to the best of my ability. Then again, find that nice tall spine. There's almost a little back bend of the heart. And then if you, almost like we're reaching the spine out all the way from the base of the spine, finding as much length as possible, folding the navel up and over the right shin. The breath right away. Start to focus on elongating the exhales. It's also a signal for our parasympathetic nervous system, our rest and digest. They can come in and clean up and rehydrate the tissues and recalibrate our nervous system. See if you can feel the muscles of the face become heavy and the cheeks relaxed. And check in if there's any way to become just 5 or 10% more comfortable in these final breaths, in this finishing posture. Got one more to go. It's one of my favorites. And then we'll have a brief rest and end our time together. Take 3 more deep breaths where you are. End with an audible exhale or a sigh, letting it go. When you're ready, just unraveling, giving a little love. Again, finding straight legs, bringing the blocks with us. You're going to set them up so they're going to be together side by side, and they're going to be on probably their lowest height or maybe their medium height. So you can see that there. All right, so lying onto your back, you're going to bring your feet as if we were coming into bridge, and I'm actually going to bring the blocks
on their medium height, like I showed you. And I want it to be so that the sacrum and the buttocks are directly onto the block. All right, so that you can feel totally supported. Again, the blocks may be a little bit different variation for you, but that you feel you're not on the lower lumbar spine, so you don't feel any kind of pressing into the lower vertebrae, but that you feel truly supported here, which is a great place to just kind of relax. All right. Like we did in that little hurdler stretch, I want you to bring the left knee into the chest and reach for the left ankle with the left hand. You're going to wiggle this left foot underneath you so that the top of the foot becomes flat to the best of your ability. So kind of wiggling it there so you can feel that left knee is allowing it to drop, and you're going to feel a nice stretch all the way through this left hip flexor, the main hip flexor muscle being the iliopsoas, and through the top of the left quad. So I've got some weight into my right foot. There's some weight on the backs of my shoulders, the back of my head, my low back, my sacrum, my sacrum and buttocks are truly supported on the block. And I'm allowing the weight of this left knee and gravity to kind of take hold. All right, now engage the belly so that you feel there's a flattening out of the low back, that you don't have like a really intense lower lumbar curve, but that you feel supported. So there's a slight constriction or contraction of the abdominal muscle so that you feel that there. And then I want you to press that left knee down and away. This may feel great for you, and you might want a little bit more. Option, maintaining everything, not losing anything you've gained, you would bring the right knee into the chest. All right, so we still want a little bit of this posterior tilt of the pelvis, nice neutral spine, and then finding that good stretch to the front of the left quad. This one's great. Just soften and settle in here. So it should be no pinching in the low back, right? No discomfort in any way, short of the stretching sensation you're going to feel through the left side of the body. I find that hugging that right knee into the chest allows me to kind of neutralize my spine, especially that lower lumbar curve, just a little bit more. And once you've done this posture, it's a little easier to get into once you know where you're going. So really offer to take this class time and time again. We can never give enough love to our hips and shoulders. But for the sake of time, if you've got that right knee bent, go ahead and plant it flat, and then use that left hand and unravel the left leg. Bringing the left foot planted firmly down, come into that bridge posture again. Make any adjustments if you feel that the low back is it's not floating freely and you don't feel supported on the sacrum. Make that adjustment. And then we'll set it up for the second side. The right hand's going to reach for the right ankle, and I'm going to tuck the top of the right foot underneath me. So it's really kind of flanking the sides of the block, and I'm allowing now the weight of my right quad and knee to come down toward the earth. And then I want you to find a little bit of a posterior tilt. So feel the little bit of like you're pulling the top of the pubic bone up slightly, just so you feel that that low back is supported. Breathing here, letting the weight of gravity take over as that right knee comes down to the earth. And then if you're fine there, I always find it comfortable to kind of bring that left knee into the chest, just so I feel that my spine is nice and neutral. Gives me a little bit of opposition, allowing that right knee to drop down and away. See if you can soften the muscles of the forehead and the eyebrow and eyebrow center. Feel the shoulders and the backs of the shoulders become heavy. And feel the front of the rib cage soften into the back of the rib cage. And taking as much time as you come back to this class time and time again, but for the sake of our time together, take another 3 breaths.
When you're ready to let that go, bending the left knee, placing the foot flat on the floor, bringing the right knee to meet it. Go ahead and lift the hip slightly and bringing the bum down to the earth, placing the blocks off to the side, just rolling over so that you're facing the screen or your phone. And we'll come up to seated. I've got my blocks nice and handy, just like I had it. I'm going to bring them underneath and just sit and elevate my hips for these last few grounding breaths together. I think that always feels nice. Maybe you take an opposite cross leg, so the one that feels unnatural. Once you find a position to stay in, we're going to do 10 grounding breaths together. So repeating the words, I am breathing in on the inhale, and I am breathing out on the exhale. Find your posture settled in. Feel some weight through the hips if you're seated, and some uplifting through the spine. So feel the collarbones wide, feel the breastbone lift, and feel the shoulder blades drop down the back. Drop the chin slightly, let the belly be soft, and close your eyes. Begin breathing now. We're just repeating those simple words. I am breathing in on the inhalation, and I am breathing out on the exhalation. A simple, gentle reminder of bringing our mind, body, and spirit connected into the present moment by this act of breathing. Breathing right here in the here and now. As we end our time together, gently bring the hands in prayer in the center of your heart, bowing forward to honor the space, the present moment. Truly grateful for all of you through this app, through this experience of Zen Mommy. Namaste. Have an amazing day. Hopefully those hips and shoulders feel a little bit more open and free. And again, come back to this practice time and time again. As always, I am so grateful for your time. Namaste.